Greetings, my name's Dwayne, and this is actually the second part or the second video in the making of the holiday gnome here. The first video we actually made the beard. Now you don't have to go in order. There is another, just to let you know, there is another video on how to make the beard first, because we're going to concentrate on this video on just making the body. And when I say the body, I mean the under part of the body. The body is going to be done in two different videos showing you how to put the additional ornate part on, because we're going to show you how to do the basic body on this video. So we're going to move this little guy aside here. And as I said, you don't have to go back and watch the beard one first. You can do that second if you're watching this one first. But this is going to be in parts, where we're going to have how to build the gnome in pieces, and then I'll probably do a final one that shows all together. But I wanted it so people could go back and just have reference to each part of making it. Now I'm using glitter foam. I actually got this at Hobby Lobby, but you can get it at any of the other craft stores or online. And this is, I'm going to use a red one here for this. And what I'm using is my basic 4-inch cones. These are the cones that I use for the ornaments, for the Woodland Wizards, for the flower fairies there that I use. So we're going to be using our same 4-inch cone. It's a 4-inch cone with a 2-inch base on it there. So I'm going to be using the same body, the same pattern, body pattern that I used with that. And just simply going to be cutting out my pattern. And if you've done the Woodland Wizards or you've done the Flower Fairies, then this is just a repeat, basically, of how to put that together using foam. Not going to be much different on that until you get to the outer part of the body. And we're just going to show on this video the basic beginning, how to cover it, because there's a couple different things that go on with this little gnome. So I'm using the same pattern for the Woodland Wizards there, the ornaments. And cutting that out of just my foam. And as you can see, you got a huge piece left to do your other parts with. Matter of fact, while I got it here, why don't we go ahead and cut out our arms too. But this is going to be our body that we put with it. So we'll grab that in just one moment. The arms are the same pattern again. I like to keep the same things or modify just a very little. I don't want to say, okay, here, have to change things up on you, change sizes. When I'm building stuff, I like to be able to have things that I can just sort of remake a little bit and change a little bit. So we're doing the basics. Keep it with the basics, keep it the same. And here again, I'm just cutting out my arms. I put it on the fold. I try not to pinch it too hard. I don't want to put a crease into it. Again, you're going to have to fold it a little bit, but I don't want to put a huge crease into it. It's very forgiving though. Have our first arm, and of course our little guy has to have 2 arms. So again, I'm just folding that over, cutting out my second one. And that'll give me both arms there. So we'll set the craft foam aside. Like I said, I have a bunch of it left here to work on, making several of these. Also, you'll see, like with the, try to do different color ones that have the different hats and everything. So only other thing is, yes, I forgot, we are gonna have to cut a base out. All I said was like it's a 2-inch base. So all I'm doing is just putting that on there, tracing around it basically, and cutting out my base. So at least I have a base with that too. So the body, we're going to start out putting it on there pretty much like we would with the Woodland Wizards. I want to have like about a 1/2 inch overhang on the bottom there. And I start out in the middle. If you haven't seen any of my other videos with the cones, I start out with placing the cone in the middle. I don't want to put it off to the side and have something be lopsided. I start out with the cone right in the middle. So a little trick there if you haven't seen any of my other videos where I work with the cones. And I just put a light line of glue up here and lay my cone down on there, like I said. So I want about a 1/2 inch hanging over. Press that on there. And then I'm going to wrap it around. And you'll see that it overlaps. And I'm going to start, I'm not going to go all the way down. I'm going to go up about 1 inch or so, because when you wrap it around, it's going to come together there. And again, I don't want to have the glue oozing out. And I go along the bottom here. I keep it together there. Nice and shiny. I like that. And again, do the other side. And I overlap the glue just a little bit, since it is going to overlap, just to help close it up there. We're just going to bring that around. And as I said, this is the exact same pattern, the exact same way that I do the Woodland Wizard Ornaments. So I've done that. I got my overhang. Now with the overhang here, I'm going to do the cutting like I normally would. Now, since I have a little bit extra there hanging out, sometimes I will trim that back a little bit. Doesn't have to be, but what I'm doing with, what I do with the wizards is it flares out. Here I'm not having it flare out. Here I'm doing like the regular cone, as if I'm building a regular gnome and I'm folding it under. So that's a little bit different from the Woodland Wizards too, is once I do my cuts, and I do approximately about 1 inch apart in my cuts, right up to the cone there. Just going around. Here I'm going to be folding it in. So I'm going to put, I'm not working with a flare out on the bottom like the Woodland Wizards that normally come out. Instead, I'm working with folding it under. Now, I haven't given that a try. Maybe it would work doing it with the flare, but it's not going to show when you're actually doing your gnome here. The flare is not going to show underneath there. So I just haven't tried that, and maybe I will try something, see how that comes out, but it's really not needed. So, and I probably could have changed the pattern just a little bit too, so it didn't hang over. That would have been no problem doing it that way, but again, I'm not trying to change the pattern on people and trying to say, okay, you got to get this different style or something like that. I want you to have what you have right now. If you've already gotten the pattern and everything, is to be able to use it for different gnomes. So we're just going to seal around here, bringing our base together. The underneath. And the reason I do cut that, I like to give you the whys on how I do things, is so that it does sit flat on here. If you just try to fold it all in, you get more of a clump. This way we can at least flatten it out. And then we're just going to take our base and glue that right on there. And again, I try to come in a little bit. I don't want it oozing out. Try to be as neatly as we can. And if it doesn't come far enough, add a little bit, lift up the corners a little bit, add some to it. There we have our basic body covered. Like I said, it's just like the Woodland Wizards or the Flowering Fairies that we're doing, simple like that. Now that I have my body there, I'm going to go ahead and do my arms. Now, with the other ones, of course, I show you how to sew them. This is actually all done with glue. I'm not going to sew onto my foam here. Now, I have done that. I've done that with some of them, and you can. You can actually, if you really want to, sew through there and then turn it inside out. The foam is very pliable. It does work that way. I don't want to get in a position where I might rip the foam, no. And I've done that, like I said, in other videos where I have done the sewing on it. But with this, I'm just going to stick with the light glue and just a light line along the edge there and glue it down. So this whole project, I haven't even mentioned that, is done just with hot glue. I'm not doing any sewing whatsoever on these little guys at all. So the whole thing can be done with hot glue. Don't have to break out the sewing machine, sewing at all. We're working with craft foam. As I said, it's not always easy to do that. And we're not turning it inside out or anything like that too. We're going to have a little holding it together there. We're going to have to push this down a little bit when we attach the arm. We'll open that up just a little bit more. That's why you don't want it to be too thick. But we're actually just going to squeeze that down. Like I said, the foam is great. It's very flexible to work with. So we're going to just glue this together. So no turning inside out. No worrying about the sewing there. Again, just putting a light line of glue and gluing that down. And again, one more time, try not to have the glue sticking out the side there. That's why just a soft little line there. Now, here's where I guess I said this is the second part, because this is now I'm going to show you how to attach the beard. So if you haven't made the beard yet, this is the part where you should go back and watch the first video on making the beard, because we're going to attach the beard here to the body now. And what I do is I come down just about a quarter inch, about 1/8 of an inch, not more than that from the top. I put it all the way up there to the top, and then the hat comes down more, and you lose those nice curves that you've made there. So you don't want to do that. You want to have it come down just a little bit, not too far though, because you don't want all this showing when you put the hat on. But you want to come down about 1/8 of an inch, not quite a 1/2 inch when you put it on to the cone there. And all we're doing is gluing along the back there. And as I said, if you haven't watched the video yet on how to put together the beard, you'll want to go back and watch that in order to have the beard to put on here. And again, I'm doing where the seam is on the front of the gnome, just so I can cover up the seam that I have there. I like to do that, is cover it up. I mean, you could put it in the back if you want, but you're going to have a seam showing, and I would rather have a nice flat back when I'm finally done with my gnome here. So I'm going to get my beard on there. And again, this is the same, and I say again over and over again just because it's the same thing that we're doing with the Woodland Wizards, with the other gnomes, how we put our arms on. You're just going to have to squeeze a little bit here. You want this to be underneath the underarm. And you don't want a lot of glue because you don't want it oozing out, but you want a bit there that you can attach. Now the arms are something that I've just, again, stayed with the basic. Stayed with the Woodland Wizard arms. What I want to do is eventually come up with a little bit more ornate in my arms. Add a little bit more character into there. But to start out with, my first ones here, just created a simple, keep it simple. And that way I'm not messing up things, but I'm going to try to put some more little curves into it and make some other designs into it. But as for right now, to get it going, to get it started, and they do come out nice. I like the way they do come out, so I'll stick with that for right now, and then we'll add some character to it later. I always like to show the basics, give you the basics to begin with, and then let you design, let you decide from there how you want to put things together. Very few gnomes do I just say, here, you have to make it exactly like this. Well, these, you do your own color, do your own design. They're going to come out, a lot of it just the same here, but I want it to be something that you can design a little bit differently too. So if you want to change your arms up a little bit and you want to put some more character into them, I'm going to be trying to figure out a little bit more style, a little bit different things going into them too. So we're going to put our other arm on here. Stick you on. And yes, you can live crazy. You can do it however you want. You can put the right on first, the left on first, however you want to put them on. No exact order, just putting them on here. And you want them to be same level that you have with the beard there, up top there, where you got the top of the beard, just because the hat's going to come down, cover. I don't want them too far up. If I put them too far up, then I'm not getting as much arm showing off there. So holding that down, letting it glue, gluing my fingers to it at the same time. But we'll take care of that and get the stringies off in just a moment. As I said, the hat's going to come down and cover the top there. Now I want the part where it's glued together to come down. And if you are wanting to do the sewing and everything, you might be able to get that more rounded, but I'm fine with how that looks on mine. Now here's the trick too, that I've gone from here. I use what's called scatter or filler, vase filler that I've gotten from Dollar Tree for my hands and the beard there. Just because they have this glitter. Now you can use, if you want, the wood balls. You can use pom-poms if you want. I just thought with the everything being glitter, keeping it with the glitter. And when I say scatter, let me show you a glitter vase filler. Pick these up at Dollar Tree. Now they have them in these different bags that come in different colors, different sizes and everything. So you gotta be careful with that. Some of them you get these very little ones here. Just to show you for a moment here, sort of do a sidebar here. You can get these at the different craft stores too, the Hobby Lobbies, Joann's and everything. But Dollar Tree, I found that they carry them in all different colors, different sizes. So you have a variety of them that you can get them in. And these I just picked up about 6 months ago, not knowing exactly what I was going to do with them. But They do have them in their party section. They have them in their baby section. I've noticed they have them in their, some of their craft sections there too. So got a lot of different colors, a lot of different varieties with that, and going back and picking up different ones. I like the gold with these. Now I have done other colors and haven't shown some of the stuff yet here that I've been working on. So here's a little sneak peek and everything. This is more of my winter one that I've put together here with a little bit of the silver going on there. So like I said, a little sneak peek there of other ones that I've been working on. So I'll use that. Like I said, it's called Scatter or Vase Fill, and they do have it at the craft stores or Dollar Tree. I can pick that up, and I've used that for that. If you want to use, as I said, the wood balls, that works fine. If you want to use pom-poms, those work fine too. Let me reach back over here, grab that. Grab a couple pieces out of here. Hopefully get around the same size there. And just show you, I'm not going to put the nose on right yet. We're not working on the hat right now because I want to put the hat on first and then we'll apply the nose. But I can put the hands in there. And I can either put glue on the balls there, or I like to just put a little bit around inside here and tuck them in neatly about halfway. So I get my hand sticking out there, gluing it down there. And once again, no right or wrong. If you do the right first, you do the right first. If you do the left, you do the left first. Whichever you want to do. We're going to get our hands applied there. And so this is your basic body. This is how we start out here. We're going to put the ornate part in just another video here that we have coming up here. I want to do a part 3 where I'm actually showing you how you're going to do the hat and how you're going to put the rest of the body together. But for right now, I wanted to get you started with the basic body, get you on that, and then we'll go into the more ornate part in another video. So thank you for watching. If you haven't done, like I said, the beard one, go ahead and watch that video too. That'll give you an idea how to start putting that together. Thank you.